British farmers are furious with the Labour government after they imposed an inheritance tax on farms, forcing many to sell their land. In a recent Westminster Hall debate, Conservative MP Graham Stewart slammed the policy, urging Labour to make a bold change before it's too late. His call for action highlighted the critical impact this decision is having on farmers' livelihoods. Watch this powerful moment as Parliament holds the government accountable.
I do have a sense of déjà vu, because a month ago I stood here, the Minister sat there, and we hoped that the government would listen. Well, it didn't listen. I suppose, though, we try to be optimistic, Dr Murison. That time, apart from the Minister's aide, there wasn't a single Labour MP to be found in this debate. And here they are all today. And they vary in their approach from, I don't mean to be too personal or rude to the Honourable Gentleman from South Norfolk who opened it, but I've never heard a speech in this Parliament in nearly 20 years that expressed no opinion on the subject in hand. So he gets the vanilla award. The Honourable Member for Bishop Auckland was perhaps tentative and timid, but nonetheless wanted to hint that it was possible that this perfect selection of policies put forward by Labour might need a little tweak. Well, congratulations on that, though I think the award should go to the member for Northumberland, who I think was pretty clear that he doesn't think this policy is right and it needs to be changed. Well, praise the Lord that someone on that side of the chamber is prepared to come out and do this. That's what you were sent here for. Not to do whatever the Prime Minister tells you to. So, as I referred to earlier, when the 2012 budget and it wanted to bring in the caravan tax that was going to devastate the industry in East Yorkshire, which happens to be based there, and down my coast, because that's where they're deployed, we stood against it and we opposed it. And I am delighted to see that the Honourable Gentleman is going to stand up and find that inner rebel inside his heart.
There's absolutely nothing to it about what I'm telling the Honourable Gentleman when I say that farmers in my community have been massively let down by the previous government. Nothing timid at all about that. I don't know why the Honourable Lady keeps saying this. We haven't voted on this policy yet, but there was a vote. It was a vote against a motion that was put forward by the opposite side, and it was a cynical motion that was designed to make us want to vote against it because it was so ridiculous.
I'm afraid he's sort of shrunk inside his outer shell, and the farmers in his constituency will have heard that. But it is possible to challenge your government. And I would say to my whips then, the best service you can do the government is to stop it doing something stupid and harmful and alienating of voters. And I would hope that members opposite could see that, because we can't change this. People outside say to me, can we get this changed? Well, it's actually up to Labour MPs. No. They have the majority. And part of a democracy, it's not about having a majority you can do what you like. A democracy is listening. A democracy is, in fact, doing what the now Prime Minister told the NFU. He said, you deserve a government that listens, that heeds early warnings. Well, you know, there's one or two about. Listen, change. And if the government changes, 4 years on, no one will remember the U-turn. Whatever the civil servants tell you, they're always very keen you stick with the policy. If it's wrong, stop doing it. And this is wrong. And perhaps in the minute and 20 seconds I have left, Dr Murison, I just say, why is it so wrong? And we've touched on the various elements, but I'm not sure we've pulled it all together. We have a really peculiar group of business people in this country. They're called farmers. They take a return on capital, so the millions they have invested in this thing, they take a return on that, typically less than 1%. There's nobody that I'm aware of, no business I was ever involved in, would remotely consider continuing in an industry that paid less than 1%. So they take a pittance and they get up at 4 in the morning for the privilege. And they look after the animals. It doesn't matter if they're ill. They can't carry their employment rights. They go, I'm not well, I shouldn't have to go out, because the cows don't care. They have to go out, they have to look after them, and then they get less than 1% return. And these businessmen, the most beneficent, public-minded business people in the whole country, then provide excellent food at among the lowest prices in Europe. So if ever there was a business you wouldn't want to go and mess with, it's these. I shouldn't say it, I'll make enemies of them. I give way to the Honourable Gentleman.
I just want to thank the Honourable Member for his scoring system. But could I ask the Honourable Member if he could confirm if he was part of the last government that failed to get £300 million of subsidy to farmers out the door in the last government?
Well, I understand. And for his political career, having been so brave today. I entirely forgive him for that piece of whataboutery. But what we have is this. It's to understand how remarkable it is. There is this whole group of business people who take practically nothing from their business, work all the hours God gives, and provide us with among the finest food in the world at among the lowest prices in Europe. Why would you want to mess with that? And not only do they do it, do you know what they do? They brainwash their children from the earliest age so that they carry on doing it. Right. I mean, these people are in indentured service to the nation, providing food while making very little profit. And they do it willingly. In fact, they love it. It's their life. And to go and mess with them out of some socialist stupid spite is ridiculous, absurd, and the members opposite know that. The member for North Northumberland certainly does, and he should lead his colleagues to tell the Chancellor, change course, just as we did in 2012 when George Osborne got it wrong.